You can live with your Kinyarwanda for many years, but since you are living in a global world, why should you, close yourself in that? Okay. So you open up just your mind. It's as if you are here in the US, you speak what? English. But then you say, oh, why? I want to learn French. I want to learn Spanish, Italian, Russian, and so on and so forth. This is it.
So you were saying that Rwanda is interested in being a part of globalization. So
is part already.
I mean, obviously it is. But in a sense, is an education system provides for students an opportunity to study these languages?
Sure, correct. That's it.
That was not a short question. You'll have to forgive me.
Oh, how many languages do people speak in Rwanda? Fine. But language that's one we have it. It's there, it's Kinyarwanda, all of us. Thank you. Yes, yes.
Since we have two distinguished diplomats with us, you served in Geneva as yes. well as New York at the United Nations. Ambassador Kamal, 50 years, I think, of diplomatic experience. I want to ask a question about the
Actually, only 1 year, repeated 50 times.
Okay. My mistake, and I apologize. I can see how you're going to answer my question. At the time of the genocide in Rwanda, the UN was roundly criticized, both for the lack of assertive decision-making in the Security Council and the lack of action by the peacekeepers on the ground. What I would like to know is, have things changed in the UN? And is the UN better able, better equipped to intervene in dangerous, deadly situations as they might arise in the world?
Can I take this first? I want to take it first for the very simple reason that I was presiding the executive board of the High Commission for Refugees at the time in Geneva. And so the events in Rwanda were absolutely front and center on the table that I was presiding. And we had a major problem. And the problem was that we saw it coming. We saw it coming because there was an extraordinary Canadian general in charge of the very small peacekeeping force that we had in Rwanda, and he had clearly sent a telegram to New York to say all hell is going to break loose. Now, when we considered that, it was quite clear that something had to be done. But when you say something has to be done in the UN, it requires what is called action. Action is the privilege only of the Security Council. The General Assembly cannot take action. It can only deliberate. Only the Security Council can take action. And so the matter went to the Security Council, and to the credit of the Secretary General at the time, Boutros Ghali, he brought it up in the Security Council. But the Security Council said, oh, it's all in Africa, it's a horrible place, and so forget it. And so an important effort was made by important people in the Security Council, whom we shall not name out of politeness to the soil on which we stand, who said that we do not want to intervene in Africa because of what had happened earlier in Somalia. And so we took no action, having been warned. And so, in a way, this tragedy of Rwanda is not a tragedy for the Hutus and the Tutsis and the Rwandans. It's a tragedy for all of us. All of us are guilty in the Rwandan genocide. Each one of us individually is guilty because we were there and it happened in front of us and we were in a position to stop it, and we did not. All yours.
What do you want me to say? So, well, I think you said everything. So the UN is the UN. We are the UN. We are the UN, and it's up to us to know how we want to handle all those kinds of problems and conflicts all over the world. We have our way to prevent those problems and so on was to say here, stop to continue hitting in the UN. I mean, try to convince by example. And to convince people by example, that's how then the leadership of Rwanda under President Kagame, they said, okay, let us be part of the peacekeeping forces in the world and send our people, our troops, all over the world where they might need us. And our soldiers, our police, they know very well that if there's such a kind of problems which can occur wherever, that they will immediately intervene. So this was our way, a very humble way to contribute to the UN.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we thank the ambassadors, I just have a couple of quick announcements. These events, as I commonly say, do not organize themselves, and I'd like to thank the staff and the student interns, the Office of Global Learning, Brian Choi, Nene Barry, Erin Quinn, and Sarah Horn, as well as the staff of the Metro Campus Provost Office, Joan Ludwizak and Michelle Vaccaro. I'd ask you please to fill out your evaluation form and hand them to one of your students on the way out, and to please take note of the signs around the Student Union building advertising International Education Week, which is coming up, and I hope you'll find some interesting events on the schedule. Thank you, and please join me in thanking.
So you are all welcome to Rwanda. Okay. Whenever you wish to go there, please let me know. You don't need a visa. You are all Americans. Yes?
No,
Even the non-Americans.
They're all Africans.
It was very provocative. You learned one. Good.